Welcome back to Goonies World. My name is Goonie, also known as Colin, and I am joined, as always, by Johnny Pharaoh, also known as Sean.
Hey, hey, hey.
And Meanie, also known as Ryan.
Hello.
And once again, bringing up the rear is Lunicorn, also known as Lynn.
Salutations.
And we are returning to Into the Odd after a short break and a Halloween special to continue our quest to find Arcana.
That's right, we are back playing Into the Odd by Chris McDowell. And in the last flurry of adventures, our heroes living in the industrial cosmic fantasy city of Bastion had moved to a new neighborhood where they secured cheap lodgings. They went to a betting parlor and bet on a sports game and won, but the person they bet with could not honor the bet, so they were given salvage rights to the Moonstone House, which is going to be torn down soon to make way for a new tramway station. And they went into the house to salvage what they could before it was destroyed, where they fought some interlopers, but they also met the mysterious Moonstone, or the Moon Sisters, Ruby Moon and Tiptoe Moon, and their other sister, whose name escapes me at the moment. But each one of them had been transformed by their flirtation with the astral cult of the existential fulcrum. And while you didn't learn much about that, you did accidentally set the place on fire and met Father Moon, who was their father, who had not died after all, but was just imprisoned in a little cosmic egg where he could never be touched. But you opened it and talked to him. Eventually knocked it right down the stairs and killed him, and he burned up with the house. But before he did, he bragged that he had really hidden his greatest collection of Arcana far away in a place called Hopesend. And so you guys determined, after you escaped the burning house and sustained some minor and major injuries, that you would, have a real expedition and become real explorers, just like what some of you have always wanted from the beginning. And that you would go to Hopesend and seek out this collection of Father Moon's Arcana, wherever it is. And so we're going to assume that you guys made enough loot and salvage, because you did find some cool things, if you recall, that you were able to liquidate that and make about 4 guilders, which is a decent amount of money. And so each of you were able to purchase modern armor, which it doesn't stack with any armor you might already have, but it's at least modern and looks appropriate. And that gives you 1 armor. So you got to remind me to subtract that from the damage I roll if I roll damage against you, if that should so happen throughout the game. And I also think you could have afforded, and I think you would have bought if you had a spare gilder, a noble weapon. Noble weapon does D8 damage, but is not bulky, so that's great. And it could be any kind of hand weapon. You choose to have it be a nice saber or a cool dueling pistol or whatever you like. You can make that up yourself, and we'll find out about that in a bit. But there aren't a lot of D8 weapons that aren't also bulky, except for these fine noble weapons. And that left about enough money to book passage on a ship, the Queen Silky. Not a lot of ships going to Hopesend. Should take, it takes about 2 weeks to get there. But the Queen Silky, it's an ironclad trading ship. It's got two huge paddle wheels on either side of it. It's like powered by steam, and that leaves you guys about 10 plus D6 each shillings of pocket money, so that you'll have to spend. So you had 10 each, and then plus a few extra, because I figure each of you would have slightly different spending habits on the little stuff. And we'll assume that you've already gone off on your journey. When we start, you're already going to be out at sea in the Queen Silky. But before we do that, it's been a while since people have heard your voices and might need a reminder about your characters. So starting with Lynn, why don't you just give us a quick reminder of your character and what they're all about and what they sound like and look like and yada yada yada.
Okay, I am Nyx Shadowthorn, and I have loud lungs, if you can't tell that from speaking. Nyx is very tall, about 6 foot, 160 pounds or so. Very muscular. She's very strong. Black hair and very dark eyes that look black. And she has her Arcanum, which is a little tomb box from which she can summon little skellies. So she runs around with little skellies. One is a little dragon, one is a little monkey, and one is a little sloth. And they are quite clever and dexterous, but not damage dealing. So she fancies herself a necromancer, even though she probably really isn't.
Okay. How about you, Ryan? Give us a reminder of your character.
Well, don't remember really. I think my name is Roach. Yeah, that's my name. Oh, I do remember him. But he's so stupid. Yeah. Anyway, he's kind of this dumb guy named Roach who has a tyrant's rod that he occasionally tries to use on people when needed, but he believes that if it doesn't work, it's because the intended victim is actually not a human. So, but yeah, he's not super tall, not... I don't really remember how I described him physically, but yeah, just a kind of average height, average weight, average appearance. Just he would disappear in a crowd completely.
Okay. All right. Yep, I definitely have an image of Roach in my mind, but I can't say you've ever described him that way. And finally, Goonie, give us a reminder about your character.
Yes, I'm Percy Butterworth, and I used to do a bit of buttling in my day and decided I was sick of it, and I wanted to go explore the world. And he is average as well, average build, average looking, but he's wearing a fancy powdered wig, if I remember correctly. He got a new one.
Yeah, I believe Roach took the ill-fitting one from the Stewie Griffin football.
Yeah, and I think and we can assume that you've spent a few shillings, at the wig maker's place, getting that fitted, if you like. But go ahead there, Percy.
Yeah, so I mean that's basically it. He has I'm sure now he's wearing the armor and looks properly attired for an explorer. That's kind of what he wanted to be, was a gentleman explorer. And now he looks the part, and he also has his Arcanum is a frozen cloud that he can sort of control with his mind that can freeze people.
Okay, so now that we've got a reminder about our characters, we actually have leveled up last time. These aren't novice characters anymore. They're professionals now because they've survived one expedition to the Moonstone House. Let's see if they'll survive this expedition. But as I said, you're out on the Queen Silky, a great big ironclad trading ship, and they've mostly got foodstuffs on board, groceries, and also some useful things that are hard to make in Hopesend, hemp ropes and hooks and stuff like that. You don't know much about Hopesend other than they call it the last port of the north. This sea, you're actually going north. It's a very still sea, not a lot of tidal action, and usually kind of a mist roiling around on the top of it. So these huge paddle wheels are steaming all the time, and it's a very big crew. But there's not a lot of passengers per se. They have a few staterooms, but mostly they're a trade ship. And you guys don't have to write all this down, but just keep in mind that in terms of the stuff you have, there's some stuff you found last time, but an expedition is always assumed to have lanterns, rations, basic climbing and mapping equipment and all that. So we assume you guys have all that. That being said, you don't want to waste your rations when you're in civilization. It's always best to eat what they've got. Anyway, you about halfway through the journey, it's been a week, and mostly it's been one of crushing boredom until a day or two ago, and there was a cyclonic storm that came through. And while the regular sailors weathered it well, it was hard for you guys, You had to spend some time in your cabins and may have even been a little sick. But today, calm has returned. The captain is actually extremely young of this ship. He's a very young captain. He inherited it from his father, and he's not even technically of legal age. But he has just enough charisma, and there's just enough of his dad's old friends still on the crew. He's making it work. His name just ironically happens to be Captain Kiddo, and Captain Kiddo has been mostly busy. But he seems wise beyond his years, and they certainly listen to him, even if his voice hasn't entirely changed and cracks sometimes. But so far, you've been more or less ignored by most of the sailors, and that's the way you like it, probably, because they can be a crude bunch. But it's a still morning, and off on the horizon, however, there's a huge splash. The horizon, a little bit to starboard, but also north, like north starboard, whatever that would be, which is the right-hand side of your ship, I believe, right? Port is left.
They have the same number of letters.
Yeah. Same number of letters, yep, and starboard is right. Good, because that's how I'm picturing it. Anyway, when this huge splash occurs and the water just shoots up, and even though it's pretty far away, it's a big enough spout that there's a mood that changes amongst all the sailors. They rush to the decks, this ironclad, been crowding on either side of the two big paddle wheels on it and staring, and one of them just goes, "Oh no, oh no." You hear Captain Kiddo's voice, like, "Oh, prepare, general quarters," and this bell goes off. You're not sure what the hell is happening. If you three want to stay safe, you better get inside," says another one. "Get down your cabins and pray to whatever cult you pray to."
What's going on?
We got a Leviathan out there. Haven't seen one in 7 years myself.
They're quite dangerous?
They're quite dangerous, yes. And he runs off. The guys are like arming themselves. They're technically like a detachment. Those of you who know the rules of Into the Odd, they're forming a detachment so they can fight this thing. This Leviathan, you can only guess at how big it must be as it surges closer, because it almost looks like a mountain of wave, like a wave bullet approaching you, right, as the water stretches around this thing as it surges forward. And there's about 4 cannons on this boat. Like, they swivel around. It takes like 3 guys to operate them. But Captain Kiddo rushes up and grabs you guys. He goes, wait, we're short on crew. Thought to save a guilder or 2, you know what I'm saying? But you lot look like you know what you're doing, right?
No. Well, we're not in this case, but we're happy to help if we can.
Listen, I need 2 of you on those guns, and if you got anything big enough to hurt something like that, you let me know. And Leviathan is a structure-sized creature, meaning you could sit there and make physical attacks by yourself with your gun against it all day long with your pistol or whatever, and it's not going to make any difference. Individuals cannot affect it. It takes like a full detachment of individuals to affect it, or weapons that are suitably large scale, such as a bomb or a rocket. Now, it might be hard to throw a bomb at it at this distance, but also, and if someone wants to man one of them cannon, like I say, we could use the help.
Oh man, the cannon.
I need my whole detachment on their rifles.
Yes, you man the cannon. I've got a rocket. I will try to aim it at the Leviathan.
Oh, I'm just gonna eat a radish.
No, that... I knew you were going to say that. You've got to... You've got a bomb, I think, or did you...
I mean,
you used one...
House.
He threw it. Yeah, he threw it.
You only had one bomb, I guess. All right.
Well, take your radish and get up there on the gun. If you're sailing this ship, that's in order.
Well, all right.
Don't worry, you got to believe in yourself, says Captain Kiddo. But now the Leviathan's getting closer and closer to where it's starting to affect the movement of the ship, right? The ship itself is starting to be pushed back by the motions and all the force that's coming through the waves. And then this huge thing just rears out. It's like those paintings you see of, Cthulhu or whatever. Like, it's just ridiculously huge. It's not quite that big, but it's looming up like almost skyscraper size relative to you out of the water, and it looks like nothing so much as a really disgusting, mottled, spotted, fat sea slug. and it slams his body back down in the water. There's this huge wave. Everybody make dexterity saves or fall to the deck. Whether you're oh man.
My dex was down from damage. I assume that has recovered in the intervening time.
Oh yes, you have had plenty of time for a long rest in the intervening time. Yeah. But the whole detachment practically is like falls down on the deck, and, skids and slams into each other, and they take a point of damage as they fall. But and if you did fail the test and you do fall and at least slide into something, bang your head, and you take D4 points of damage. That's the force. If you didn't fail, great.
Fortunately, I rolled a 1.
Nice. You maintained your footing. It looked good doing it. How about the rest of you guys?
I succeeded as well.
Well, that is wonderful news. So most of the crew go down onto their ass. And then you guys have a chance to do something. So I'll assume that you guys who manned the guns can go ahead and fire those guns. And those are D12 guns, and they do affect that thing. So you can just roll a D12. Unfortunately, it has a natural armor of 2. So you got to subtract 2 from whatever you roll. So how'd you do, Nix?
Same with the cannons.
Yeah, this is the cannons that I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so boom.
Not great. Only 5.
Never
3.
Never fired a cannon before, but you hit it with this huge bulk, and of course there's a huge, jarring rattle all through your body, and it's like much louder than you thought. But 3 is better than nothing. How did Roach do?
Roach is, I assume, on the other gun, since everybody else fell on their ass. Roach rolled a 9. What's that, 2 armor, so what's 7?
7 more. Oh man, see, you guys have done 10 points of hit protection to the terrible Leviathan as it looms up before you. And we have Percy. What do you do, Percy?
He's gonna take out his rocket and try to maybe get down like a army soldier on one knee and aim it at the Leviathan.
Okay. And
I'm going to
light
fire
the fuse.
Yeah, D10 when it causes a colorful explosion.
That's right.
So I want to subtract 2 from what I rolled.
Yes, we want you to roll high. We want you to roll high. And
oh boy. Well, that'll be with a -2 will be a 1.
well, okay, we're going to do at least 1, but you do get nice, colorful explosion.
My goblins would have loved
Yes,
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yep, goblins would have loved that one. Now, keep in mind, though, that, the rocket could hurt it at least a little bit, potentially. A rifle couldn't have hurt it at all. And anyway, the detachment manages to get to their feet. The Leviathan then rises up out of the water, and it spews, not just out of its mouth, but out of a lot of little pores, around its mouth. What I can only call like a acidic phlegm all over the ship. Just like a great big splash all over. Very heavy, thick rain that's like phlegmy syrup. And it's like burning and acidic. Please, once again, make dexterity saves to not get hit and splashed as you by the terrible acidic burning phlegm. Just a hunk of burning phlegm. Who failed that?
Well, Roach got a natural 20, so from natural 1 to natural 20.
Oh, my. Wow. Just a swing and extremes of bad luck. But good luck when I roll the damage, because on a D6, I just rolled a 1 for the damage. And if you have 1 armor, which you do, don't forget about that. So, yeah, you're okay. It's running off the side of your armor right now. Anyone else fail that? No. Okay.
Nope.
That's great news. The detachment I'm not so sure how lucky they were. But yeah, there's a great scream that rises up from across the decks as the detachment collectively takes 4 points of damage. And but then it is your turn again, and so why don't we fire off with those guns and see if we can't put an end to this terrible thing. And how'd you do, Lynn?
6.
6 after the subtraction?
No.
Nope.
4.
So 4 more.
Minus
okay.
2.
That's all right. That's all right. You've got her up to 15 now. How'd Roach do?
Roach also rolled a 6.
Lovely. And see, now we've got it up to... Oh, guess what? Boom, boom! It starts swaying back and forth. Now, have you killed it? No, that's really not how it works. But it's going to have to make a strength save. Which it makes, but it also decides that, the Leviathan is not so enraged that it wants to die. And so with one great big splash, one more great big splash, boom, going down into the water, creating another huge wave. And boy, we're just making a lot of dex saves tonight, but go ahead and make one last dex save as the Leviathan describes a huge churning arc in the water as it turns around and goes back from whence it came. If you failed that last dex save, then you fall and you take 2 points of damage.
I made it again.
Roach made it too.
Luckily. Nice. Well, there is a lot of excitement on the deck of the Queen Silky. Captain Kiddo rushes up to you guys, and he pats Percy on the back. There's no way, no one knew that only did 1 point of damage, right? It looked really impressive.
Yeah.
And but runs over. Some gunners are running up and shaking your guys' hands. Most of them have like bumps and bruises from falling, and they're like covered with acidic phlegm burns. And there's like pools of that nasty stuff all over the deck still. Watch where you step. People are patting you guys on the back. There's a lot of great rejoicing. So they feel you guys had a lot better luck than they did. But there's like apparently there's better food on the ship than what you'd been eating, and you dine with Captain Kiddo that night. And he wears thin after a while in terms of his dinner conversation, because he tends to dominate it and everyone listens. But it's certainly better than being crushed or eaten or burned to death by the mighty Leviathan of the Great North Sea. And you make better time than 2 weeks, in fact, probably because of the cyclonic storms that you went through. And within the next few days, you can see a smear on the horizon. A low smear. No majestic mountains, no great forests, just a low, muddy smear on the horizon, which soon coalesces into some really grim, cold-looking marshlands. And the city of Hopesend, and you really can't call it a city, it's really more of a coastal village, rises up out of the mist. The buildings are quite tall, actually, and narrow, but they're teetering and sagging rather dangerously, mostly made of wood. There's a great big central tower with a gas lamp on the roof that's glowing in the mist. And then the docks themselves are all rotten and sagging. And as I said, there's a thick mist all over everything. But that light on top, that gas light on top of the tower, gives everything like a kind of an unnatural and eerie electric seeming light, with all the mist, and it's blue gas light, even in the daytime, which this is. Beyond that's just this vast expanse of marshland. And as the ship pulls into the dock and workers come out and start unloading it, you shake hands with Captain Kiddo and a few other friends you've made along the way, and you disembark. First thing you notice, this whole place just reeks like fish. There's not like fish out for sale, not fishwives up, but the whole place just has this overpowering fishy odor. They get a crane going as well, getting that thing unloaded. This man with a very pinched little face, he's cadaverously thin. He's wearing a really long stocking cap is striped red and white. He approaches you guys, and he's shaking. He's rubbing his hands together as if in anticipation. He says, "Oh, fresh blood! I mean, newcomers, eh? Newcomers, eh? I'm Bredrick.
That's right.
I'm Bredrick, just like Frederick, but with a B. It's a bread, and then you added a Eric. Bredrick. That's me."
Nice to meet you. I'm Percy Butterworth, and we have a Roach here, and
Hello, Roach.
Nix.
Nix, nice to meet you, Percy.
Nice to
Would
meet
you like
you.
a radish?
I would love a radish. Oh, I love a good radish. These are good ones. Radishes from Bastion. Say, that sounds like a poem. Radishes from Bastion. No, I'm not here to read poetry, however. I know everyone here. Why don't you give me a shilling, and I can get you settled here in a place that's nice and warm and clean. Save you the trouble of looking all around, eh? And I can answer any questions you might have about the place. Full of information, I am. All for that one little shilling. While I might buy my friends a round of drinks.
Well, I suppose a shilling is worth a guide, such as yourself. Get us situated. I'll provide the shilling.
Oh, thank you, Governor.
I just, we all helped, but we took down a Leviathan just not that long ago.
He looks like he's going to naysay you for a moment, but there's some of the ship's people nearby. He's overhearing the same sort of conversations, and one of them looks over. No, really, they did, And well, we did, but I mean they did, but we did. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we killed it. I think we just scared it off.
Yes, we
I was going to say
caused it to retreat, back into its watery depths.
Gave it
Where
what
it came
for,
from.
eh? Gave it what for? Lovely.
Yes, it took a rocket from me, and I think that's mostly what did it, but
Oh, rocket,
everyone
very
helped.
nice. Very nice. Oh, you're all very, very well accoutred. You've got nice, noble weapons on you, and you're all outfitted for an expedition, eh?
That's right.
That's right.
Well, let me take you a place where every now and then when someone starts an expedition, they always go first. You got to go to the Pickled Goose Tavern and Boarding House. Follow me.
All right, lead the way.
Yeah, he leads you through the winding streets. And again, these houses, some of them you think they're just going to fall down. Most of the people seem fairly... the hygiene standards aren't up to snuff here. People don't obviously bathe as much here as they do in Bastion. And you get a lot of looks that are in between leers or snarls. Not so much outright hatred as just not the world's friendliest looks from the locals. As if they've seen your kind come and go, perhaps. But there's a 4-storied house that really looks like it's going to fall over any minute. And he leads you inside. There's a sign outside. The Pickled Goose. He takes you in. Again, there's that heavy, heavy fish smell in the air.
It's fishy about this place.
There's a stocky, red-faced woman who approaches you. First thing she'll... Bredrick, I've told you! Oh, hello. Bredrick goes over to his friends and buys that round of drinks he promised them. And she goes, well, hello, please do come in. Hello. I'm Joy. This is the Pickled Goose. Let me give you some of our house beer on the house. One on the house. Come on in. Right here. Take this corner
That's
table.
very generous.
Take this corner table by the peat fire there. There you go. It's lovely.
Thank you.
She rushes off and comes back with this beer. Is pink beer, and when you lift it to your lips, it smells kind of fishy. But you're getting a terrible feeling. Everything here probably will.
Hey.
But if you taste it, it tastes more or less, like beer, but it has a bit of a fishy aftertaste. She goes, so, I assume that you'll need a place to stay while you're here. We have lovely rooms here available, and board included. Room and board for 10 shillings a week, payable in advance. Shall we arrange that now? We don't want the rooms to get taken by someone else. Not like we're exactly flooded with expeditioners, but still.
Yes, I was thinking that, but I see no good reason not to patronize this place.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, sure there's other options, but why bother with that? We're here now. Might as well.
Lovely. Excellent. I'll get you your room keys. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and serve you dinner then. Lovely. And,
I take it there's fish on the menu.
Cod rolls, the best, she says as she walks off, and then she gets herself busy with other customers. There's a little boy that comes up wearing like a fake pig nose, and he looks like not happy about it. He's got this great big, steaming tray of cod rolls for you. But he sets down the tray and he goes, "Don't ask," and turns around and walks off. Unless you want to stop.
No, I bet that young boy lost some kind of bet or something. That's
Well,
what
I thought
I'm
he was the
thinking.
mascot for the pickled goose.
Pickled goose, did you
What
say?
is that? What place is called, right?
Well, no. I think it's pickled, actually.
Ooh, do you think they got... I could pickle me radishes.
Oh, maybe.
I bet they could.
Yeah.
That's a lovely idea.
Yeah, maybe because, I don't know if those radishes are keeping so well after all this time. You might want to pickle them.
Yeah, well, the taste is fine earlier, but yeah, I don't think they're going to last forever, Well, when she comes back, maybe I'll ask her if I remember.
She does come back a few minutes later and says, you haven't tried those cod rolls yet. Take a bite. Tell me what you think. You guys take a bite. They are like extremely salty. They're like bracingly salty. Like you want to take like a huge drink of water like after every single bite. It's my own special recipe. Do you like it?
No, it's horrible.
Well,
Mind him. Well, it's good, good for salt, yes. It's good to have salt in your body.
it's better than eating radishes.
No, radishes is delicious. What are you talking about? And plus, this is so salty, it makes me anus curl up in a ball.
Well, I'm sure I don't need to know the details of your anus,
I don't know
sir.
what that means.
However, you are a guest, and you shall be given some grace. So, at any rate, I do hope. I'm beginning to worry you may not enjoy the board here as part of your room and board agreement, but you'll get used to it. Salt's good for you. Everything here is quite salty and fishy. You'll get used to that. So, she goes off about her business, and
I don't know how we're going to uncurl that anus of yours. Could be a problem.
Well, when I drink this beer, it's rather fishy, of course, but it's relaxing a bit.
Okay, that's good.
So, there's a voice. It's kind of sounds tough, but it's kind of high pitched. And there's a first you think there's an androgynous person walking up, but you realize that this is a girl, kind of a tomboy, maybe in her teen years. She has a rather distinctive hat that has like floppy bunny ears on it, but otherwise she's kind of dressed like a person out of the wilderness. She goes, "So, explorers, eh?"
Yes.
Yes, you can call us that.
Well, you can call me Laddie. I can get you all around the marshes.
Ooh, well, would a young man like you know where Arcana would be hiding?
Thank you. And where what Arcana will be hiding?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you're talking about the moon treasure, aren't
Ooh,
you?
you know
Says little
about
Laddie.
it.
Yes.
And we heard it straight from the source, from Mr. Moon himself.
Yes, Keith Moon told us all about it.
Well, he's a loon. No. Well, this is a little before my time, you understand. She sits down and, like, helps herself to some of the food, without really even asking that's on the tray, and pours herself a glass of the water. Her skin's really dry and salty, though, too. And so is a lot of the people's around here. No, well, I know. This is a little before my time, but when I was a kid, I was just a girl, and I was out marsh hunting with my daddy. There's an expedition that came through, and I know it's from Moonstone House because they had their moon-shaped logo, painted on all their crates and whatnot. And my daddy and a few other fellas led them out into the marsh. There's an old shrine out there. I've seen the shrine. I've never been to it, but I know where it is. And my daddy told me they put it all in the shrine of the Star Child's head. And I've seen it, and I can get you there. I can get you almost all the way there. I'm not going to go past the worm pool. That's where I get worms. But that's where I can see it from. And they'll never find it without a guide. But I get a shilling a day, plus food and drink. What do you say?
Well, we better check our funds here. We have enough to pay for... How much are you asking?
I'm asking for a shilling a day, and I'm worth every
day.
pence of it. And you don't have to worry about me. I can take care of myself, she says, and she pats a overlarge dagger at her side.
Well, I have no doubt you can handle your own. Would you be willing to just maybe accept maybe a portion of the profits that we might find?
Fine, I'll accept 1/5.
1/5.
But I'm still not going past the worm pool.
Okay. The worm pool is where you turn back. And we'll keep going forward then.
I won't turn back. I'm going to stay and watch you guys. Make sure you don't run off with my 5th.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Plus, you'll never get back without me. You'll get lost in the marshes.
Okay, well, I find that acceptable.
All right. And it's a
Yeah, that seems reasonable. How much? A shilling a day?
shilling a day. That's about what an average worker makes, but it's still hard to afford.
After
Well, go ahead.
after we've paid, here for room and board and all that, I'm afraid we might be short on shillings, so I thought this might be a better solution.
Yeah, I think it's better too. 1/5. Because there's a lot of crates that went in there. My daddy said so.
Yes, we'll never be able to probably, I would be happy with just 1 or 2 Arcana. I've already got 1. Of course, the more the better, but I don't mind sharing. You'll probably have earned it by that point, so
That's right.
it's fine.
Yeah, well, don't go talking too loud about having Arcana, Collectors
Oh, yes.
will be bugging you. People try to slit your throat in the night and take it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, all right, well, listen, when do we go? Oh, so it's a deal then, right? So she spits in her hand, and you guys all have to spit in your hand and shake hands with her around the table.
Well, let me generate some saliva.
That's
Here
right.
we go.
All right, here we go. So,
Oh, no. Oh, don't put that in there. You've got those loud lungs have generated some really nasty phlegm.
That's right.
yeah,
Well, it's not as nasty as the phlegm from the Leviathan.
Yes, that's probably true.
all right, so when are we heading out? First thing in the morning? Or you want to go out on the marshes at night?
Oh,
I don't think going at night would be a good idea.
You're
yeah.
right.
Yes, let's wait till morning.
All right, you guys aren't as hopeless as you look. Fine, I'll meet you at the north gate at first light. Don't be late.
Okay, we'll see you then.
All right, one final thing. Don't hand me a lighter to light your lantern for you, because I ain't no lighter boy. I'm a full-fledged guide.
Okay, yes. Fair enough.
Understood.
All right. So, the rather abrasive laddie takes off, and we'll assume you guys go ahead and spend the night there that night. The rooms smell like fish, of course, but they are about as clean as they can be. It's just a narrow bed, very small room, narrow bed, hardback chair, little table with a bowl of water on it that smells like fish. And nevertheless, first time you slept in a bed that's not rocking, to the waves in a long time. So you get a good night's sleep, and at first light, we'll assume that you meet Laddie out at the north gate, and you're staring off into the desolate expanse of the marshes. And she begins trotting off. It's kind of hard to keep up with her at first because you guys are, got all your expedition equipment with you and your weapons. And you're wearing modern armor, which is like breastplate and helmet, sort of like a Victorian version of a conquistador sort of get up, right? And the laddie rushes off, and she never, loses you on purpose, but she turns around impatiently a few times. She's taking a meandering course. Just looks like a bunch of tall reeds and small stunted trees here and there. And you can see there are marsh birds taking off and landing. And she's running in a meandering path, though, and you realize pretty quickly that if you were to step too far, to the right or too far to the left at any given time, you might find yourself in a quagmire or quicksand, because you actually see a deer that had been stuck. Is dead now, but there are some disgusting little albino alligators about a foot long all eating it, and you don't want to end up like that deer, so you make sure to follow Laddie. And you go on for what seems like hours. It's cold and wet, and that's always unpleasant. But soon, out of the mist, you see one fairly unmistakable landmark, because it looks like a gigantic foot that's sticking out of the ground. It's been here for obviously probably millennia. It's all like covered with vegetation and moss, but it's still kind of foot-shaped. And you can see the ankle coming out of it, and the shin just going straight down into the marsh. And Laddie points up at it and goes, "That's the Star Child's foot. And the Star Child, he fell from the sky a long time ago and hit so hard that he stuck, but parts of him broke up and his head fell off. That's where the shrine is. It's in the Star Child's head. But that's his foot right there. Isn't it big?"
It's quite large.
"I know. Do you believe in the Star Children?"
No, I don't know what that is.
I belong to the cult of the Star Children. Yep. But you know what? I never really went to school and all that, so I didn't pay too much attention. But I know the Star Children are watching over us. They're going to come back someday, and we better be able to account for ourselves and show we ain't been naughty. Right?
Oh, well, that's interesting. There are many cults. I've never really chosen one. I took notice of them, and it's very interesting. I'm glad to have be learning all this other culture. Isn't it nice to get out of the city?
"Yeah, it's real nice," says another voice you hadn't heard yet. And suddenly there's like, "Ah, ha, ha," cackle. And 6 figures leap over the others, from the other side of the foot where they've been in hiding. And these figures, your laddie goes, "Oh, crap, mutants!" And she pulls out her knife. And indeed, are terrible. One of these guys actually has, like, bat wings, and he's flapping them. And as he's running, he looks like he's about to take off. There's another one with a huge, overlarge head. Like, he could barely run. It's like he's somehow the most horrific one of them all. He's like tilting back and forth. There's another one with a tail. And another guy who actually seems fairly normal. You're not sure what's so mutated about him. And then there's a guy with his legs fused together. He's like hopping at you guys, swinging a chain around. They've all got different weapons. But that's what you see. Now, they're far enough away. I'm not going to give them like a free attack on you or make you roll dex to act because you're surprised or whatever. But they're all preparing, getting out their weapons, and the one with wings just like whoosh takes off in the air. Now, you have no way of knowing their names, but it'll be easier for me if I call them by name from now on. So Balthazar with his bat wings just at least gets aloft, and then you can see them. They're kind of at about pistol range from you at this point. What do you guys do? Let's just start with Roach.
Well, Roach is going to run towards them because he did not take a ranged weapon as his Gilder purchase.
Oh, okay.
You rush off to join the melee. Percy, what do you do in the meantime?
I will take out my pistol that I had before. It's not my new noble one. I'm going to say my noble weapon is a nice, shiny saber. but I still have this pistol. I'm going to draw it and shoot if I can.
Okay. And as I said there was a guy who looked normal. There's actually two guys who look kind of normal. But yeah, gosh, who do you want to shoot at? There's a guy with the big giant head. There's a guy with the tail.
Yeah, I think the big head guy was the easiest target. So.
Okay, well, Felix. His name's Felix. He's got a great big head. He's actually kind of got toady skin, too. But his head, again, he looks like he could barely stand up. You know, it's always lolling to one side. And so all you got to do is roll your d6 as you fire at him. He's not wearing any armor, so you don't have to subtract anything. None of them are wearing any armor.
Okay. And I rolled a 6.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Felix has got to make a strength. Felix is critically injured. Oh, boy. That head just goes down. Boom. There's a splash because it partly lands in some water. And Felix is down with his huge head. And then, what are you doing, Nyx?
Nyx is firing her pistol, which I also did not take as my noble weapon.
Okay.
I took a sword for a
who wouldn't?
noble weapon.
Who wouldn't?
I know,
Right.
right? Exactly.
Yeah. So, who are you shoot at? Which of these?
I'm going to shoot at Big Head.
Well, he's already down. He's already taken critical damage.
Oh,
so-
he's already... Oh.
Yeah, but there's...
I will shoot at
There's the
Batwing.
Oh, Balthazar with his wings. Yeah, he's just gotten aloft, and you fire the pistol. He's got a pistol too. You notice?
6.
Oh my goodness!
I know,
He has
right?
to make. If you haven't guessed, these guys have D6 HP each, but he has to. But he actually does not take critical damage. He makes that strength save. Okay. And meanwhile, while you guys have been shooting, Roach has been running, and Roach of these guys with the legs fused together are the two normal-looking guys, the guy with the tail. Who did you run up to and attack?
Well, actually, his intention when I said he was running was to run up and jump at Balthazar and swing at his legs. But if that's not possible, he'll, target the normal.
No, he's not quite.
twin guy.
Yeah, he's not that high up yet. I could totally see you jumping and grabbing his legs.
Well, he's going to swing his noble cudgel.
Oh, okay.
His noble spiked cudgel at.
Yeah,
his
that's
legs.
great. Yeah, he could certainly hit at least his feet, right? He's just been hit pretty hard, so you got to think he floundered a little bit. He's still off the ground, but you can certainly swing that cudgel.
That's going to be 6.
Okay. Oh, well, this time he did not make his strength save. There's a very low amount of strength that he has. And he falls. Boom. Taking critical damage. And now they will go. The guy with his legs fused together hops up. And he says, Balthazar! And his name is Guga Muga. And Guga Muga hops up and he's swinging a chain around his... Not long enough to make it a ranged weapon, just to be a nasty melee weapon. He swings his chain at you, but he only rolls a 1, so your armor will take care of that. So you're able to glance to deflect the chain with his armor. And I was speaking, of course, to Roach, who's the only one up there. And meanwhile, one of the guys who looked fairly normal, he rushes forward, and then when he's really just about 12 feet away from Percy, he throws a brick at you. And like I say, other than being dirty, he looks fairly normal. And he tosses the brick at your head, and it's 2 points of damage. I'm subtracting your armor already, and boom!
How much? How much?
2 points of damage got
Okay.
through, and then the one with the prehensile tail actually has an axe, little throwing axe in that tail, and he comes rushing forward, and he turns around as if he's going to moon you, Nyx, but his tail lurches around, and he hurls the throwing axe at you, and you also will take 2 points of damage after your armor. And the others are just rushing in to... one of them's got a great big spear, but it's bulky. He can't quite get to you. And... Yep, so there's 4 of them left, and it is now your turn. Now, you're more or less in a melee with Guga Muga, with his legs fused together, who's hopping around. Roach, what do you do?
Well, I'm going to try to whack him with the cudgel.
All right. And what did you choose for your noble weapon, by the way?
The cudgel.
Oh, okay, the noble cudgel. Nice. So, yeah, it's probably got some nice banding on it.
And spikes at the end.
Right, nice polish the wood. Yeah.
Ooh, 3.
3. Okay. But he screams. That hurts him all right. And then what are you doing, Percy? The nearest one to you is, of course, the one who had just run in. He looked normal. The guy who just run in and hurled the brick at you.
Yes, that's enough brick hurling from you, mister, and I'm going to sick my frozen cloud on him.
All right. The frozen cloud coalesces and moves over towards him and completely freezes him. He's like,
they
icicles
do get
form.
To make a strength
save to break out of it. He strains and strains and strains and rolls a natural 20 on the strength save, so he's not getting out of that anytime soon. And that's good. Looks like he might have had another couple bricks in his bag. And Nix, what do you do? The one that one with the prehensile tail just hurled an axe at you. You could rush up and attack it melee, or you could shoot it. What do you want to do?
I think I will shoot again.
Okay.
Only got a 2 that time.
Only got a 2 that time. Okay. And still, every little bit helps. Don't forget they're not wearing armor, and they don't look particularly healthy anyway. And that guy, in fact, takes out another axe with his hand and rushes up and... Oh, I almost gave him a 2-hit roll. We don't need to do that and into the odd. And swings his other little axe at you, Nix, and ouch. Well, you got to subtract the armor, so you take 5 points of 5 HP. Bam! From the axe. Ha! He says, but you've also, hurt him a little bit. And the other guy, he's completely frozen right now. He's not going to be able to get out. But one of the guy with the spear that was taking him a while to get here because it's so heavy, he rushes up and attacks you, Percy, with his great big spear, which does D8 damage, bulky, but still. But he only rolls a 3, so you take 2 points of damage. Okay. 2 HP loss from that great big bulky spear. And Gugamuga's not dead, no. Gugamuga's going to swing his chain again at our good friend. But he does absolutely no damage to Roach because he only rolls a 1, and Roach has got some armor on. So, what do you do, Nix?
I am going to rush forward into melee with my newly minted noble sword.
All right.
And I got a 5 that time.
Oh, my. Well, Pip, with his prehensile tail, does not make his strength save, and he takes critical damage and goes down. And at that point, everybody starts trying to run. And if you want to let them run, you can let them run. Gugamuga is, in fact, the one who made the call. Retreat! Retreat! And they begin running away. If you take any little pot shots at them, that's fine.
I don't think I'll shoot anyone in the backs. I'll let them run and think about what they've done.
All right. Well, Laddie comes out. Even though Laddie took no part in the fighting, she pops up from behind a stunted old bush where she was, and then she goes in charging after them. Like, yeah, that's right. You better run. You better run. That's right. And she's waving her dagger. Ha! Guess we showed them. She says.
Well,
yes, we
showed
did them. Not so much you.
You needed my leadership capabilities, says Laddie.
Have you no weapons?
I got this right here. It's all the weapon I need. She holds up a great big dagger.
Yes, you've got the dagger. Well, next time maybe we could use that help.
Hey, I was just about to go in. They ran.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway, follow me. It's this way. So you guys go around the great big foot, and after about another 15 or 20 minutes, there's a fairly substantial pool. It's not, well, pond really. Not quite big enough to be called a lake. But,
Can we take a short rest in the boat while she's
well,
steering?
you're not in a boat. She's just walking, through the marshes. On the,
Oh, we're okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were. In a
but
little...
short rest is a great idea, and short rest is definitely a great idea. In fact, if you want to look at the bodies of the ones that did take critical damage, and they're lying there unconscious.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they will be
Bodies.
dead
Where's the
eventually. But
bodies?
the guy with the giant head has a pistol, but I'm going to say Laddie's already run in and grabbed that, whether she deserves it or not, because you guys are fairly well armed. There's also a nice piece of cheese. And she goes, "Ugh, not salty enough." Sticks up her nose at the piece of cheese that he had. And
I'll take that.
I
love cheese.
You more or less killed Pip with the prehensile tail, right? And for whatever reason, you found a little toy horse that Pip had. The one cherished memory of his childhood you now have. And then, of course, Balthazar with the winged Balthazar also had a pistol. And then there's a guy who's still frozen. He'll probably unfreeze eventually. If you want to go up and just bash him in the fucking skull with the cudgel or shoot him point blank or something, you can do that. Or you can just let him unfreeze and run away later. That would be poor Volta, and you didn't see his mutation really, which is probably good.
Probably has nipples all over the body.
Too many nipples.
Probably too many nipples. I think, yes, why don't you give a good bashing with your cudgel?
Oh, that doesn't seem necessary, does it? I think he's going to die anyway.
It might not be necessary.
I could if you want, but I don't think it's... It just don't seem right. He's debilitated as it is.
Well, he's just frozen. I think once he unfrozen, who knows what he'll do if he... hopefully, if he runs, of course, then no violence is necessary. But well, if I don't want to be looking over my shoulder, though. I don't know how long this cloud is going to keep him frozen. Maybe we just I'll move the cloud and we'll surround him, and then we'll see what he's going to do.
All right.
All right, well, you guys all stand around him, and the cloud moves away, and he looks at you all. He looks around, he sees his friends, he sees the ones that run away.
Think carefully now.
Do you have any cheese?
And he strains, then he
Well, I'm
explodes!
going to smash him in the head as soon as he started straining, so...
Well, go ahead, because he also explodes if he dies. So either way, we'll just let you have that bash. I'm going to just let you have that one, and we're going to assume it's enough to kill him. Because
it was 4.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it would have been enough. It would have been enough to make him safe. He could explode at will, but let's go ahead and make a natural 20 for the save. There's been a lot of natural 20s floating around out there tonight, 3 that I can remember. And then he explodes. And probably have to take another rest now, because, boom, let me grab my D12, and this is a blast, so it affects everybody. And everybody takes 6 HP of damage when he explodes.
Oh,
that takes anyone down into their strength. Let me know.
Yeah, that would be like 2 into my strength.
Okay, we'll make a save at your strength -2, whatever that would be.
I got it.
All right, that's good. You're not down yet. Now, if you guys rest, again, you can get your HP back. But I think that you've taken quite a bit of damage for tonight. Now, you'll have to rest for like a week to get that strength back, and you might not have that luxury before we continue next time. But After a rest, you guys move on, a little worse for wear. And eventually, in the distance, you can see this like huge moss-covered head tilted at an angle with a great big open mouth. And this is beyond that lake that I had mentioned earlier, that pond where that she called the worm pond. And Laddie points it at you. There it is. That's it. That's the shrine of the Star Child's skull. That's where your Arcana is. Wait a minute. I meant our Arcana. And,
Okay. I thought you were staying behind at the worm place.
That's right. I'm right here. I'm pointing it out to you. See over there where it is?
Okay.
So you go in there and you get it. 1/5. It's mine. That was the deal.
Yes, that's the deal. And you promise you're going... Well, of course, I have every reason to believe you'll be here because you want that 1/5, so...
Oh, yeah. I'll be here all right. Oh, yeah. You better be here.
Yes, we will return if we are able and not dead.
Well, I'm going to pray to the Star Children for you. Because if you don't come back, I get nothing.
Okay, yes, well, I appreciate your prayers.
All right.
I suppose we should venture closer.
All right. Well, next time we will venture closer and deeper into the odd. And we'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.